Welcome to Love You in the Sky. Enjoy the story. To promote Lynn E., the company paired us both into a social life, creating a contrasting pair. Lynn E. portrayed a laid-back, carefree person, while I played the role of someone who was always busy but always messed things up, making her the little son born with incredibly high EQ in the shared house. On the day of filming, we got out of the car at the same time. As soon as Lenny appeared, the comments exploded and the viral buzz erupted. Sweet gun, no. One CIS, it was my turn to be completely silent, which is understandable. I'm an unknown nobody. After greeting the audience, Lynn E. kindly reminded me I am Fnankai, who's from the same company, that she's shy and afraid of social interaction, and that she's participating in the program to change herself. People don't know this, but she even prepared a performance. I was surprised myself. What kind of performance? She thought I'd be humiliated and get criticized by netizens. How naive. On the surface, I'm just a minor actress, a nobody after 3 years since my debut. But who would have thought I'm also an amateur comedian, with a burst of humor running through every cell of my being? Yet, the comments were overwhelmingly negative, saying who would want to watch her perform, that she was just putting on a show to get screen time. Seeing the flood of comments, I took a deep breath. That's when the attention was highest. I immediately released a stand-up video, a once-a-year reunion. I'm Fuon Kaiha, remember that. Building the nation from the start, studying hard, walking the path of a beauty queen, constantly increasing my fame, striving every day when facing someone big, I must try even harder. Did you hear the applause from all sides? The chat went silent for a second, then exploded. This kind of shyness? How could you do that without years of practice? Girl, you've sparked my interest. Some people said I was just riding on the wave of popularity, wondering how long I'd been practicing under the covers. Seeing the fake buzz, I knew I'd profited. At the end of the performance, in a corner hidden from the camera, Lene was furious. Didn't I tell you to maintain your image as a useless person? I tilted my head. What image? She stomped her foot. The useless part, of course. I widened my eyes. Which useless part? Her face flushed. Just you wait. I smiled gently. Okay, I'll wait. Then came the task assignment. Lenny immediately chose the task of waking everyone up every morning, claiming it suited her little son image. Lenny enthusiastically offered to help me with the work. Since we're from the same company, I know she's very meticulous. So I thought it was best to put Fnankai in charge of finances. Everyone knows that every season of this show's arguments stem from inconsistent finances. If you do your job well and others still criticize you, netizens will curse you for not doing a good job at all. Moreover, most artists are clueless about bookkeeping. Doing it manually is both extremely difficult and nobody appreciates it. But surprisingly, I got my auditing certificate right after graduating from university. I pulled out my certificate, and the accounting and finance departments became close friends. I spoke up. If you're going to be in charge of the bookkeeping, let me risk my life this one time. One person shouted, "Oh my God, do you know how difficult it is?" I studied accounting, and I've been taking the exam for 3 years and still haven't passed. Someone laughed. This girl has so many more secrets she hasn't revealed yet. Production team, where did you find such a genius? Everyone's jaws dropped when I opened my laptop and started typing away like a printer, handing out 15 spreadsheets to each person. There were cost estimates, expense reports, management cost allocation tables, and profit and expenditure reports. I emphasized that anyone needing to withdraw money should fill out the tables completely to avoid bad debt. Did anyone have any objections? Did anyone dare to disagree? Looking at the dense lines of numbers, all in Chinese characters and combined into specialized terminology that no one understood. The whole group wanted to faint. I smiled slightly. If there were no objections, I would take charge of organizing everything. Their childhood fear of mathematics made everyone nod in agreement. After collecting the spreadsheets, someone asked, "So, what about the daily meals? Buy together or cook it ourselves?" Everyone immediately started clamoring. I need to maintain my figure. I'm not used to greasy food. I can't live without meat. I only eat organic vegetables. I frowned. We can take care of the food, but who's going to cook? The whole room fell silent, everyone looking at each other. Lenny seized the opportunity to interject, looking at me triumphantly. "Since you're the one in charge of the accounts, you should take care of the meals, too. I don't eat takeout." All eyes turned to me again. I nonchalantly had two options. One, I prepare the ingredients and everyone cooks their own. Two, I take care of everything, but not according to individual tastes. Everyone was used to serving meals to 12 people, and if they wanted to maintain their image, anything that didn't suit their taste would cause trouble, and no one dared to take responsibility. I added, if anyone wanted to cook, I could still fulfill their individual requests, but I would still control all the costs. Did anyone object? Lin E looked skeptical. "You're going to cook? I don't believe it. What if it's bad or causes food poisoning?" Everyone looked at me suspiciously, thinking I had cornered her. I pulled out my cooking certificate and professional European cuisine certification. I looked at Lin E with a mischievous smile. She was speechless, unable to say anything, and after a long time, reluctantly snorted. "So you think having a certificate makes you so great? Who knows if you bought it?" I laughed. "Good. Let's see if the aroma will make you go back on your word." Less than a minute after the dishes were served, they were all gone. Lenny hadn't even had a chance to pick up a piece before she saw the bottom of the plate. She tried to comfort herself, telling me she was on a diet, that she wasn't eating. But her reluctantly fasting demeanor was so funny it made me want to burst out laughing. After dinner, everyone sat down to chat, and the topic shifted to anti-fans. Then I looked into the camera, feigning strength. I was almost depressed because of the anti-fans insults. I've overcome it now, but my mental state hasn't fully recovered yet. She glanced at me, lazily munching on sunflower seeds, and continued, "Unlike someone who's never been in the eye of the storm of public opinion and doesn't understand that feeling." I chewed my sunflower seeds and said nonchalantly, "Well, it's a coincidence. I also have a psychological counseling certificate. Want to see me? No need to pay. I specialize in mental support." The comments exploded. Oh my God. I'm dying of laughter. What's so great about you? Who understands Fangzhia? In just one day, I've mastered 5 skills and know all sorts of professions. The comments yelled, "Why isn't she a professor instead of a show? Oh my God, calling being a celebrity a side job? I'm going to call the police. What's going on in her head?" I laughed and replied, "That's a good question. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert in that field. Although I'm not an expert in that field, I still want to express my opinion. After carefully reading your question, I thought about it for a long time and decided not to say anything more. Because honestly, I don't know how to answer. As I said from the beginning, this isn't my specialty, but if it's psychology, then I'd be considered a half-expert." At that moment, Lenny was sitting in my room, the two of us face to face, staring intently. I told her to take a deep breath and exhale. For the next hour, I gently analyzed right and wrong, using logic and appealing to emotions, employing all sorts of professional knowledge, and finally, she fell asleep. Excellent. She slept without eating anything. Women like me certainly know how to impress others. Lenny was asleep on the sofa. It wasn't even 9 o'clock yet, and without her sarcastic remarks, she looked quite adorable, and the evening atmosphere really does inspire enthusiasm. So I pulled out my thesis and civil service exam papers, transforming into a diligent exam study soldier, solving math problems and logical reasoning exercises. Amidst Lin A's soft murmurs, I finished my essay on a village head leading the countryside into the digital age. I turned my back and she woke up. We stared at each other again. I pointed to the corner of her mouth and casually said, "Wipe off your drool first, whatever you said." She blushed, her face turning pale then red, pretending not to care, wiping it off haphazardly before grumbling, "It's a beautiful woman's business, don't meddle in it." I shrugged. I didn't want to meddle either, but if I added another word, there was some on the pillow. Speechless, she immediately grabbed her pillow, stood up, and hurried to the door. But as soon as she opened the door, she turned around and glared at me. "You're so talented." Why are you participating in these pointless activities? Are you sick? I crossed my arms. What do you mean by that? Does it mean that because of pride, I don't need the money anymore? If the program wasn't paying so generously, I really wouldn't have come. The national exam is coming up soon anyway. Of course, I have my own reasons for coming here. Lynn E. looked at me, her face flushed, and gritted her teeth as she managed to say, "Why didn't you call?"